But a team that should be very concerned at 1-3, Josh, the team that got absolutely smoked by the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday in Arrowhead. It was easily Patrick Mahomes, his best game in a Chiefs uniform in easily a couple of seasons. And it looks like to me that Lamar Jackson may not even play in this game Sunday against the Texans. It sounds like it's going to be Cooper Rush because Houston is favored by 1.5 right now.
If I had to guess, Lamar's going to miss a couple weeks, honestly. And remember how the who was it that was injured? Remember how the San Francisco 49ers were injured to all hell and back last year?
And you can make a case they are this year as well.
Yes. But my point here is it feels like the Baltimore Ravens are the AFC's version of the San Francisco 49ers, at least for this season.
Yeah, the weird thing about the Ravens is, like, up until week 3, you didn't really notice it because they played so well against Buffalo week 1, even though they lost. They beat the Browns handily in week 2. And then they come out Monday.
Impressive.
And then they come out Monday night against the Lions and they look flat. And so you think, okay, they're going into Kansas City. They may not win, but at least it's probably going to be a competitive game. And by the halftime, let's be honest, that game was over.
Yeah. Mahomes found his groove, and given the Chargers' offensive line issues, Mahomes could very easily come back and win this division.
And here's the weird thing about Baltimore is, like, they caught a huge break of the fact that Joe Burrow got hurt for the Bengals because they're sitting there at 1-3. The Browns are not going anywhere. It sounds like the quarterback out of Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, may be playing this Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings.
Finally!
Do we really? I know we have a separate topic on this, so we'll get to it, but do we really believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers? I mean, is it fathomable that, let's say, even if Cooper Rush plays this week and the Ravens fall to 1-4, I don't think it's out of the question they can still win the division.
I mean, like you said, the Browns are going nowhere. Maybe that's why the Browns are playing in London, is because the U.S. lost the Ryder Cup, so this is our payback. I'm starting to think that's what it is. But the Bengals are pathetic. They may end up trading Trey Hendrickson, for God's sakes. And like you said, we'll get to this, but I don't know with the Steelers. But after the Texans, they've got the Rams at home.
And that's the team that the Rams almost beat them. Remember, a couple of years ago was the pump walk-off return, and the Rams are obviously playing very well. They get the Niners this week on a Thursday night. I said going into the year, that's one of the reasons why I had the Ravens as a wild card team at 10-7. It's one of the reasons why I did not have them winning the division because of this murderer's row of a schedule. Are you surprised? I think one of the earliest trends so far in the NFL season is the running backs that went crazy last year. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. They are not having the success they had a year ago. It seems to me like Baltimore, as soon as they get behind right now, they are immediately panicking and stop giving Derrick Henry the run.
I think a lot of that is because teams are making adjustments with a lot of these great running backs, whether it's Saquon, whether it's Josh Jacobs, because I would consider him to be one of the great running backs currently, or King Henry, for that matter. You know, teams are stacking the box more and saying, no, you're not beating us. Which, with the Ravens, that's usually a bad recipe because Lamar can beat you with his legs or with his passing ability. But that hasn't really been the case this season.
And he's also been hesitant to run. I've noticed that in games too, where it feels like there's open lanes and he's still dancing, trying to find a potential receiver open down the field instead of just taking off. I haven't seen him be as effective of a runner since the week 1 game against Buffalo. Again, maybe the hamstring injury's got something to do with that because he went out of the game. He popped up real quick on that injury. He did not look like he was favoring anything.
Yeah, I agree. But the only reason the Ravens are ahead of the Browns is because they beat them week 2. Think about that. The Ravens have the same record as the Browns.
You're right.
Does that say more about the Browns or does that say more about the Ravens?
I mean, that definitely says way more about the Ravens, who, believe it or not, the Ravens have had a historic defense since they became a franchise in 1995, I should say. We all remember the 2000 defense that won the Super Bowl. They are almost second to last or dead last in every single category. At Deke Bay, the defensive lineman's out for the year. Roquan Smith, the middle linebacker, is going to be out multiple weeks. Marlon Humphrey went down. Their defense is being put together by duct tape right now. And I think that's the bigger story, because until like 3/4 of the way through last year, if you remember, their defense was also getting torched.
Yeah. I think losing Mike McDonald has had a bigger impact than we thought.
For sure. I mean, listen, I'm going to get to this in a little bit. I think you were right on Seattle. I don't understand them, and I'll get to that when we get to our other takeaways, but I think you're right. I think Baltimore is clearly missing Mike McDonald.
Yeah, and their new defensive coordinator, I think his name's Zach Orr, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. He was a former linebacker for the Ravens.
Yeah. Like, you have the pieces when they're healthy, and yet it's not clicking. Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, and Ed Reed must be looking at this defense and going, what the hell is this?
Well, Kyle Hamilton's also been banged up the whole year, so they are literally missing like the best 3 to 4 players on that defense.
Like I said, Ray Lewis especially has got to be looking at this and being like, what the hell is this? This is not Baltimore Ravens football.